Okay.
So this is unfinished business. You come back to sort of, it's not exactly the same movie, but Paul wanted to do something he couldn't do. So you guys
we had an unfortunate experience on the previous picture that Paul and I did together called Dying at the Light. Great character to play. Very fascinating script. East meets West. The picture was pretty much taken from Paul and recut in such a manner that he couldn't put his name on it anymore. It was a mess. So when he came to me with Dog Eat Dog, I was deeply flattered that he would give us, Paul and myself, another shot at this. And then when he said we're going to go after Willem, who I have great regard for and revere as a film actor, I was like, wow, you know, I'm really in. That's going to be great. He said it was a funny script, and I read it, and I just don't see the humor in this, Paul. But that made me realize that he was up to something, that he had some tricks up his sleeve, and he was going to pull a rabbit out of his hat, and lo and behold, he did.
So you played Dog.
Yes.
Crazy. And you were offered that part, but
Yeah.
you wanted to change to Troy because you had something similar?
I had just done a movie called Army of One in Morocco, and this is a real guy that I was playing, and I did several interviews with him, and he could not stop talking, and I knew then that it was going to be a very demanding, high-energy, exhausting movie to make, and Paul came to me with Dog Eat Dog when I was still in Morocco, and I said, I just can't play another maniac. So I passed on Dog, but I said maybe I could do something with Troy, and thankfully I passed on Dog because then we got Willem's magical performance, and with Troy I was able to realize some of my cinema fantasies with the whole cinephile Bogart kind of influence ambiance I put on him.
Certainly it was a funny movie if you think that far. I mean, one probably previous movie, the condition of their social conscience was different. Probably, let's say, gun crime or drugs. Nowadays, people are a bit, sensitive about it. But I could see the funny side, and so how do you become this crazy mad guy?
It's easy. We think about these people all the time. I know people like this.
In real life? Because you play Jesus.
Oh, yeah, well, we know Jesus too. No, it's Mad Dog is a part of Mad Dog. That's a fantasy. It's the shadow side. It's the person you don't want to be. It's the part that society says you can't be. So this is always something interesting. It's the other, and it's a very extreme other. But also, having grown up when I have, in the conditions that I have, I'm familiar with cokeheads. I'm familiar with cokehead talk. I'm familiar with the regrets and the need for, people who've gotten dirty getting clean. This is part of life, so I could relate to it. But of course, the world, it's quite extreme. But that's the sexy part to play.
Yeah, it's tragic as well, but I found that in the very beginning, this guy put the gun, a lot of things, and then, we have all these guns, now we could live safe or something, that more gun means safe. That's sort of really funny, But what do you think, young people watch this movie, and then do you think you can make them think gun is bad, drug is bad, in a sense you're making fun of it?
No, because I think that to make a message movie, to me, I find message movies just so boring. I don't want to be preached to. I think the idea of film as a mirror reflecting things that are current in society has value, but not necessarily to comment on it and tell you how to live your life per se. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So is any particular scene you enjoy playing, or the other way around, do you find it difficult to act in any particular scenes?
The idea for me with Troy was that he was aspiring to be something he wasn't, and those guys that are in a bad situation, the only thing worse or more tragic than a guy who's in a sad situation and knows it is a guy who's in a sad situation and doesn't know it. That to me is more tragic. And so this guy trying to be his hero, be a cinephile, wanting to be Humphrey Bogart, but he's really just a low-rank convict, to me had some pathos to it. And so what I liked was that Paul allowed me to plant the seeds that he was a cinephile, partially because I was doing a Paul Schrader movie and knowing that he's a cinephile, and then letting it go into the abstract dimension at the end to actually have Troy have that one moment of bliss where he could channel his hero and become his hero. That to me was a dream come true. I think the hardest scene for me was the scene where I had to pitch the gig, the mission to my comrades, Troy, Dog, and Diesel, because that was a heck of a lot of dialogue, and I wanted to find a way to keep it flowing, and so I think that might have been my most difficult day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.